Hello. You've reached PRS, the Preternatural Research Society. Please leave a message after the beep.
Midnight Thursday, PRS receives a frantic call from a male homeowner. He hasn't slept in days. He will sell his house if the ghost doesn't leave. PRS is on the case. Everything you are about to see is real. All events occur over the course of a weekend. The investigators have no prior knowledge of the specifics of the case.
I don't want to go to sleep because I'm afraid something is going to crawl into bed with me.
It's traumatizing to live in this house.
Something seems to be targeting the father of the family.
I think I've questioned my sanity
He's not Fred anymore.
quite often.
I want my husband back.
Fred definitely does look like he's about to lose it.
The ghost doesn't want them together.
I'm seeing something.
This one is trying to do everything to separate them.
Oh my God.
It was knocking in sets of 3.
I don't like this house. Too many things could go wrong.
His hands around your neck.
Okay. Let it try to possess me, because it will be in for a surprise. This is not your house.
This is my house. Get the out. Get the out.
I was concerned it could be serious. Now it definitely is serious.
Is anybody touching me? Oh my God.
Each week, the Preternatural Research Society, a seasoned team of renowned psychics and historical researchers, has an urgent mission. Over the course of a 3-day investigation, they must scientifically uncover paranormal threats, remove unwanted spirits, and return a home to its rightful owners. Due to the severity of this case, the production crew was not permitted to reveal the homeowner's residence. All filming took place inside the house.
I've been here for 4 years. I was able to cope with it for the first 3 years. It is something that is tormenting me while I'm sleeping, crawling on me, touching me, waking me up by knocking on walls, shattering light bulbs. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's in my mind or if it's a spirit or if it's a ghost. Normally when I come in at middle of the night, I'll think it's one of my children, and as soon as I ask them, hey, what are you doing up so late? And I get to the top of the stairs and it disappears right in front of me. What I see is a 2-foot-high figure, no head, it's gray, it has suspenders on with a long-sleeve striped shirt, and it's always facing me, and it disappears within 2 seconds when I focus on it.
Daryl, the PRS team leader, calls an emergency meeting.
The case that we're working on this weekend is a bit different from the cases that we've been doing over the past couple weeks, which is why we're meeting here.
My specialty in the PRS group is the psychic part of me.
I communicate with the spirits. I see them as pictures.
I do healing work with energy. I do what's called healing touch.
I'm the PRS director. I'm basically in charge of the other members. It's kind of my job to take everyone else's information, see what everyone else is getting, and try to put it together. There's a mother and a father and some children in the case that are living in the house. They really don't want the neighbors knowing what's going on. They didn't want the community as a whole knowing what's going on. So we're going to leave the truck here at Jane's house. Something seems to be targeting the father of the family. He's waking up paralyzed. This is something which could have a negative entity involved. This is something that could have a demonic entity involved.
There's a real sense of urgency to get to Fred's house because it has already taken hold on the family. The longer an entity is there in disrupting a marriage, the worse the marriage gets, the more chance that the marriage will split.
We're the all-American family. We try to do the best we can. We're able financially for me to be home with the children, which is very important to both of us. Said he wanted toast. Do you want cinnamon toast or white toast? It definitely has its stressful moments. I said no bike. I'm yelling at the children, and it's nothing they did. It's just I'm exhausted.
Why do you have to do this to me?
I'm sorry.
There's no way to get this bike out.
The family is in crisis. Fred is experiencing violent paranormal activity. His behavior is putting great stress on the family. He has decided that if the ghosts won't leave, he will sell the house.
I'm angry that this is happening to my husband. He's awake at night. He's waking me up all night. He doesn't want to be in the house by himself. He doesn't want to be in certain rooms at all.
I don't really think that she fully comprehends of what I'm going through.
There's a bedroom upstairs. He won't even go in that bedroom.
It was standing right here, facing me, just like this with its hands on its side, and had no head. About 3 o'clock in the morning, we heard a crash. It was just looking at me, facing me. We turn on the light, and we find that the light bulb here had shattered, and then it just disappeared, just like smoke. Glass was all over the floor, dissipated, nothing. I don't understand, how something like that could happen. I think I've questioned my sanity quite often, and even as we're doing this interview, I'm still questioning my sanity.
It's very difficult for me to watch him. It's like he's falling apart. It's an emotional strain on him that is just unbearable.
It's right where Kathleen is standing, and I saw something out of the corner of my eye, like this high, no head.
He's not Fred anymore. He's scared. He's scared of his own house.
It was knocking in sets of 3. What is wrong with me? Why is this only happening to me? I'm a normal, regular person.
This needs to stop. If it doesn't, we're definitely going to have to leave the house because I don't think he's going to be able to live here anymore.
I don't want to go to sleep because I'm afraid something is going to crawl into bed with me. Generally between 2:30 and 3:30, I could feel something crawl up the side of my bed. It either has its hand on my throat, now it straddles my back, it pats on the back of my shoulders. It's very, very disturbing.
The kids aren't getting a fair shake. They're very stressed right now. They don't know what's going on in our house. They don't know why Daddy's mad all the time. Now he won't even go in the room. It's bad.
The kids sleep with us. I don't really feel comfortable with them sleeping in here. I don't want it near my kids. It's something I don't want to talk about with them and bring it to their attention, but I also don't want them to experience it either, and I hope they didn't, truthfully. That was something in the closet right next to you. It sounded like the hangers scratching together.
Don't tell me that.
He was standing right here, filming me, and we heard that kind of noise. Just like that, just one, like that. Really, I'm not.
I believe you.
Really, I'm not pulling your chain. Really. Why?
I want my old life back. I want my husband back.
I would like to see someone else see what I see, just so I can have some peace and solace that I'm not alone.
We are going to Grandma's house to drop off the kids. Fred was very concerned, and I was very concerned about things that might go on during the weekend in the house.
I hope that I can get rid of this thing, and I support him wholeheartedly. And I think what he's doing is the way to go.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Be good for Grandma. Try not to be too hot either. And don't be fresh. You have to take your marriage vows seriously and stand behind your spouse. Even if you don't completely agree with what they're doing, you need to support them. Maybe the psychics will be able to get it out of the house. I really hope they can. Hopefully we'll know in the next 24, 48 hours if they were able to get rid of it.
Until this weekend is over, that will be my most profound revelation, whether there is something in my presence or whether I'm not completely sane.
The team arrives at the home of Fred and Kathleen. Tormented by a headless ghost, Fred is unable to sleep and is called in PRS to help. Fearing for the safety of his research team, Daryl makes a strange request.
Nice to see you again. Fred and Kathleen, I kind of want to apologize for my, I guess, unusual request to eat outside. I kind of want to go in the house very prepared for the worst. Not that the worst might be the case. I'm just a little wary about going in there until I know a little better what's going on. I just want to ask Farah and Jane and Kiki, like, have you guys, since you've been here, felt anything outside?
They are trying to decide about us. They are trying to find out, are they going to like us or are they going to dislike us?
Are being plural or are being singular?
Plural.
And you're not talking about us.
No,
Because we like you.
definitely not. Definitely not.
He seems very concerned. I definitely feel the worry of having this be something that he and his family and his children will be judged by.
Fred has been experiencing paranormal activity for years, but recently it has become so severe that he is unable to sleep and is considering selling his house.
I'm kind of interested to see what you find because I'd like to compare it to what I've been going through for the past 4 years.
It started 4 years ago?
Yeah, that's when
From
we
day
moved
one,
in.
and it's getting
Right away.
stronger, and that's why I can't cope with it any longer.
He waited 4 years. He shouldn't have waited so long. I think he didn't know what to do.
Part of what is most important is for a person to realize there are people out there that experience this and you're not crazy.
I just want answers. It's been really sort of tormenting me. So I'd like an answer.
My heart has gone out to Fred. He's scared. He feels tortured, tormented. It's serious business for him if he feels like this could ruin his life.
To begin the investigation, the members of the Preternatural Research Society conduct individual walkthroughs of the house. Kiki has over 10 years' experience in psychic energy healing and performing paranormal investigations. Farah is a renowned psychic and UFO investigator from Turkey. Jane is a world-class psychic and published author with over 25 years of experience. She has also worked as a psychic witness for law enforcement.
When we're about to do walkthroughs, I already have some information from the family. I need to now set up the walkthroughs for the psychics. I want them to also choose as they're going where the energy might be flowing, where it might want to take them.
Oh my God. This is strange. When I went down into the basement and I opened up that one door and saw it was a sauna, I was in total shock. I'm getting a sense of asphyxiation. This is a weird place. I don't like this house. Too many things could go wrong.
As Jane struggles to make sense of her impressions, Kiki experiences physical sensations in another part of the basement.
Oh, my hands are starting to tingle. A child is hiding. Very frightened. I see a child sitting in this position. Like this.
Upstairs, Farah also picks up the spirit of a child.
Somebody is very sad about the loss of a baby. That's why I was smelling blood. It's related with blood, a baby.
The investigators have uncovered their first clue. Farah and Kiki have both sensed the presence of a child. Fred describes what he's been seeing in the house to PRS illustrator Trevor McCarthy.
Fred, why don't you tell me about you're seeing?
Sometimes when I come home late at night, I see it on the stairs. It's a figure without a head.
A figure without a head?
No head.
Wow.
Never seen a head. Watching me.
What's it conveying? It's watching you?
It's wearing suspenders.
Okay.
And it has a striped shirt.
As Trevor struggles to bring Fred's descriptions to life, the psychics head upstairs to Fred and Kathleen's bedroom, where most of the paranormal activity is taking place.
When a person sleeps, he gets closer to the other dimensions, especially for the negative cases. Sleep is a big attraction. So where do they catch the person? Where do they hunt that person? In the bedroom. This is the married couple's bedroom. This is not a bed. I'm sorry for saying this, but this is a grave. Every night they are not sleeping in a bed. Every night they are sleeping in a grave. This room is a grave.
Farah picks up the presence of negative energy, which could indicate danger. Downstairs, Jane senses the same energy.
As I begin to pick that up, I'm going to want to go over to that energy and feel it more fully. Ow. It's hitting me right here on my right side. Oh, okay, all right. I'm definitely getting an image of a man. The man is what I feel. I'm closing my eyes and I'm seeing an image of a man. He starts to come around me. He starts to give me a sensation, but he's not giving it to me. He's like backing away from me. It's like he's playing a game with me. It definitely upset me because I was getting an image of him and then he shifted. It knows what we're up to and it's almost mocking. I think the old man is someone that is attached to the property in some way. That's who I feel that it could be.
Back in the master bedroom, Farah is making progress. Farah also feels a malevolent spirit.
Upstairs, it's much more dangerous for me because upstairs, around the beds, are the most intense corners of the ghost haunting. They are sharing their bed with somebody else. There is somebody else gets in between two of them. That ghost is trying to separate them. The ghost doesn't want them together. This one is trying to do everything to separate them. I can't imagine how they can manage to sleep there. This room is the end of the marriage.
By the time the walkthroughs were finished, I was a little bit concerned. Everyone's kind of getting something different. It's very strange to me. When you're dealing with something like that, it can be dangerous. It can be dangerous to the family, and it can also be dangerous for the team.
Pressed for time, Daryl quickly meets with Kenny Roginski, the PRS historical researcher outside the house.
I know it's really late at night right now. I know we've all been working hard, and I know especially I've given you very short notice on this case.
My role presently in the PRS is to do research. Anything that might help put the pieces together, what the psychics come up with, it may correspond with the history of the area, the residents who live there.
I need you to get me some facts about this house. I need something that makes sense, see if it meets what the psychics are saying.
It's a case that came up very quick, and it's a very sensitive case also.
If you can find me who's lived in this house, who's died in this house, something that makes sense, it's gonna help because the family's worried and scared, and right now I'm worried and scared for them too.
It's 3 a.m. The team's walkthroughs have ended, but Fred is already at his wit's end.
I'm just concerned because I saw Daryl on the deck and I said that we're dying to know. He said, well, no one's going to get any answers tonight because we all need to sit down and discuss what we saw. So now I feel like we have to go another night without knowing, and I'm almost willing to just stay awake. It's traumatizing to live in this house. I feel nothing.
Okay? Yeah, I just want my wife to shut up because we have to sell the house. I don't want to, other people to know that we did this program.
Fred definitely does look like he's about to lose it. He's getting periods of relaxation, and then I get him getting periods of getting frightened. I mean, he joked with me before and said, should I put the sign up? And I can see that he's already thinking about that. I mean, not just as a joke, he's seriously thinking about it. It is something that's really, really on his mind.
Daryl, the leader of PRS, brings his team together to share their findings. They hope to make sense of the malicious entity that has been tormenting Fred and appearing in his bedroom at night.
Because of what's going on in the case and because of what time it is and all right now, what I want to do is I want to convene with my group. I'm going to fill them in on what I know. It's kind of late and there's a lot to talk about. Jane had started in the family room. This is where she started her image of this man. It was an angry man, walks heavy, pacing, being coy. Now for Farah, something related to a child or a baby who had died, maybe a miscarriage. Kiki broke down crying. She saw this child sitting down there crying. Let me tell you what the family told me.
Troubled by the activity in their home and desperate for answers, Fred and Kathleen have done some research on their own.
The former owners of my house had a terrible misfortune of losing a small child. This child had cancer.
And I came to find out about 2 years after buying the house through someone I know in town that the child actually passed in the house.
It passed away in the back bedroom. Why do I think he's still here? From what I've seen From what I feel on top of me, it definitely feels and looks like a small child. I think that this child has not moved out of the house yet.
I've dealt with malevolent spirits a lot in my years in PRS. The image is never quite right. There's always something wrong. These entities are looking like one thing, but they're really not. And some of the things that they were showing weren't right. They're drawing from your fears, from your memories, from what it is you might want to see. One of the things that's kind of catching me is the fact that Jane was not picking up any of the storyline that we expected her to. Farah and Kiki, on the other hand, are picking up what we believe was the storyline of the house, about a child and different things. But I think that this entity is fooling them and making them buy the story that it's a child. They're describing the child and an old man. To the family, they're appearing as a little child. To Kiki and Farah, they're appearing as a little child, but not to Jane, which makes me think that it's not really the child. The old man is probably the one that's controlling him. That's probably the spirit that's been attacking the husband. And this has just moved up as a very serious case. I was concerned it could be serious. Now it definitely is serious.
Based on their years of experience, Daryl and the team conclude that there is a single entity haunting Fred and Kathleen. This evil spirit has been impersonating a young boy to fool both Fred and Jane.
Coming to a conclusion and putting the pieces together as far as what we know now, that's why we're up. The plan now is we're all going to sleep in the basement tonight because we feel that we all need to be together and not be separate. And we're figuring it out.
As the PRS team prepares for a few hours of sleep, Daryl sets up a night vision camera that will record the activity in the room.
Is that you guys?
Huh?
What was that?
Your notebook.
What book?
This.
Did it fall on its own?
Yes.
I know you all heard some things last night in terms of something dropping. Luckily, we had the video camera up, and I want to show you what we caught. This, just so you know, this is the clipboard right here, okay? That's been sitting there for a while.
There's no way that,
that was out there for a while. It was
unbelievable. The clipboard was definitely a strange occurrence. There had to be something that was present that moved it, because there's no way that clipboard would have just fallen off, because there was no movement going on.
So obviously nobody bumped it. It wasn't like it was at an angle slowly falling. It was there this whole time.
I'm sure because it was a negative entity, it would have liked to have hit us with it. And if it had enough strength at that point, it probably would have.
The investigation became more complicated when Fred stormed out of the house 2 hours ago. He will not come home.
I just spoke to him on the telephone. He said I'm not going to make it.
Wow.
I can't.
Okay, it's okay. This is understandable. It's all right. Kathleen was very upset at that point. She didn't know what was going to go on, and she was a little frightened by the whole thing. And you could tell that at that point, the spirit had already begun to cause a marital problem.
Because he doesn't want to come. And he's angry. He's very angry today.
If Fred feels like it's never going to leave me alone,
he won't.
Everything we do is only going to be a temporary solution. Kathleen was very stressed at that point between what we were doing, between the children, between the phenomena in the house. She wanted answers.
We love the house. Yeah. We really do. I mean, we've done little things to make it home for us, and we'd hate to have to leave it.
You know, we need his help.
Right.
Downstairs, Farah describes her impression of the entity to Trevor. The team is starting to piece the puzzle together and find much-needed answers for Fred.
There was an old gentleman that I saw last night. He is an old person, 75, 80. He has white hairs, but his hair is a little bit long, curly, and very untidy. But the eyes are red and bloody. He has lots of blood veins in his eyes. All the eyes are a little bit open, and inside is all red.
What kind of attitude is he giving you?
I really don't feel that our existence is welcomed by the man. Yes. Yes. This is the person. Definitely he.
Back upstairs, Kathleen desperately tries to convince her husband to come home. She explains PRS's discovery that there is an evil entity in the house, but that's not the ghost that Fred believes it to be.
I was speaking with Jane and Daryl. They told me what it is, but it's actually like an entity that's here. They feel that it is attached to you, and it's taking the form of what you think is in the house, but it's really not it. A lot of things were kind of closing in on me at the same time. He didn't want to come back. He didn't want to have anything else to do with the filming. So I was worried that he wasn't going to come back. We have to work together to tell it to leave. And they said if we stand together as a family, then it'll go. I spoke to Fred. It went pretty well. He's got a lot of questions that he wants addressed when he comes here. He's willing to come and discuss it. I'm relieved that he's coming home because I think that we can work together to get rid of what it is.
What really got me upset on Saturday, what made me not feel like I wanted to come back to the house that night, was mainly the stress level. I guess I came back from my wife.
In spite of everything, Fred agrees to return home to his family and confront the entity.
As you know, yesterday we spent a lot of time walking around the house and using the abilities of everybody to find out what was going on. I'll give you a rundown of what's here and what we're going to do about it. You definitely are experiencing phenomena that is real. That is without a doubt. What you are seeing is paranormal activity. It is happening. It is real. We can only get rid of it if the family, everyone in the family, down to the children, want to get rid of it.
Interesting.
This is your house. It's your inner strength that's going to make sure this thing will never come near you again.
When I was asking him, is it okay, can we go forward, I still was feeling as though things were up in the air. I was not sure what he was going to say. Okay?
Okay.
The PRS team has determined that Fred was not imagining things. They have calmed his fears and convinced him that there is something evil in his house. After examining historical records, police reports, and obituaries, researchers Kenny Roginski and Emily Snyder find limited data on the house.
Our hands were tied in this case. For one, we could not contact the previous owner. We could not really be outside or walk around the house.
However, pertinent information about the surrounding area was uncovered.
In Kenny's investigation of the house, he found a sump pump in the basement. And the fact that the house is surrounded by water is something that we are seriously interested in as far as water's involvement in spiritual activity.
As Emily continues to gather information about the role of water, back at the PRS van, Trevor refines the sketch of the old man who's been using the likeness of a child who died in the house to fool the family and PRS. As Trevor races to finalize his illustration of the negative entity, Farah leads Fred and Kathleen on a tour of her impressions throughout the house.
This corner for me is the favorite place of the watcher, the old gentleman. And he was observing us.
When Farah told us that someone was up in the corner of our dining room, it made me feel violated, like someone was watching me. But it also was very creepy to me that someone would enjoy watching us have a meal.
So now let's go to downstairs and I will explain you my other impressions.
Water is a source of spiritual energy. As such, the negative entity has a fertile feeding ground in Fred and Kathleen's basement.
There is a boiling area here. For me, your entities are coming from here. This is their nest. Water is a very special material. Water has no shape. Water has no limits. In my first visit, I called this place the gate of the hell because your demons, your creatures are coming from here. They are feeding themselves from this water.
It was frightening to me when she pointed out the water source. To this day, I just cannot walk in that section of the room. And from that point on, it was very frightening.
What I saw, obviously, is a black-colored cross. For me, the meaning of the cross in Jesus Christ is love, peace, and protection. But this cross gives me such a scary sensation. I'm scared of this one. Not because of the color, not because of the metal, not because of the location. The object is okay. The spirit of the object is not okay. So where did you get it from?
It belonged to my great aunt and uncle, and when they passed away, They passed away within about 6 weeks of each other.
It was upside down. It was used in the upside down position.
Really?
Which is not good. Satanism is against the Christian religion. An upside down cross is changing the rules of the gods. That's why upside down cross symbolizes the satanic rituals. They had to get rid of that cross, that black cross. They had another cross, but it was okay.
In order to draw the entity out and confront it head-on, PRS asks Fred and Kathleen to leave for the evening. Alone with the entity, PRS will attempt to drive it from the house once and for all.
Yeah, I wish you all the luck, and I'll say a prayer for you guys. Good luck, guys.
PRS preps their equipment and musters the energy to confront the entity inside the house.
Owners of the house have left for the night. All we're doing is sitting out here for about 10 minutes, just trying to give the house time for the energy to settle.
We decided that it was necessary for us to confront these entities. One of the things we thought of doing was to actually get the family to leave for the night. By having them gone, the entities didn't have anyone to hide behind. They didn't have anyone to draw fear from. It was just them and us.
The team begins their exorcism in the bedroom where the young boy died of cancer. Making the first move, Jane speaks directly to the entity.
I want to see you. I want to feel you. I want you to do something. I want you to hell out of here. Whether you are a negative spirit or whether you're a demon, whatever you are, you're going. The purpose of going into the little girl's bedroom was to flush out the spirit that was in there. So we were in there to attempt to make it come out. It did, and it went after me.
That older one, old man, he's approaching to you. He's getting very angry with you.
Good, let him get angry. Feels like I'm being choked.
His hands were around your neck.
The dark will always go after the light, so it figured it could go to me first, and it attempted to choke me.
Bring the cross.
You can come to me, because this isn't protecting you. Come on, I challenge you. Do it again. After I confronted the entity in the little girl's room, then I went into the master bedroom, because that's also where activity was going on, where I had felt something in there. So I wanted to see if that entity went in there, and if I laid down on the bed, if I can encourage it to come to me. I challenge you to come and try to put pressure on my body like you do to Fred. I'm not afraid of you. I want to feel what you can do. Once I laid on the bed and felt spirit, what was strange to me is that I felt that there was like a brick on my stomach.
The team uses a thermal imaging camera to detect temperature changes in the room.
If I was to notice that suddenly something that should be red or yellow, which means it's warm, starts turning blue and green, something is taking the heat away from that object. Believe it or not, the temperature actually is going down in this room.
There's something on me. Is anybody touching me? In the solar plexus area, there's something on my face. So I was, in a sense, going out of body, and the spirit was basically taking over me.
It was very scary to watch, because she's kind of letting something take her over, letting something do things to her body.
I'm gonna ground you, okay?
I want whatever this is on my stomach off. It feels like there's a box. Oh my God.
The team has discovered that the spirit tormenting Fred is actually a negative entity which has been impersonating the ghost of a small child who died in the house. The demon has been appearing to the psychics as an old man, confusing the investigation. To protect them from harm, Fred and Kathleen were asked to leave their home while PRS confronted the negative entity.
As we all know, we weren't home last night. We were out of the house. The curiosity has really been eating at us for hours as to if anything in fact happened.
It did make itself known, especially to Jane at one point, on the master bed.
On your bed was a very intense experience for me. I felt pressure on my stomach.
When we sat down at the table, there were certain things that they told us that were absolutely shocking.
It felt to me that a black rectangular box was on my stomach.
You didn't even want to be in that room.
I certainly could understand that if you were asleep and you woke up to that feeling, you would be very frightened. I would be frightened. I think the old man is very dangerous. I fear for the family. Absolutely.
Researchers Kenny and Emily add historical perspective to the unique investigation.
There's a lake nearby, as you know, with a stream that juts out and goes around. There's a lot of water in the area, which is a conductor for paranormal activity.
In my research, specifically water's involvement in spiritual activity, I found that ancient civilizations have always worshipped the earth's elements. And the Native Americans are known for using water as a spiritual conductor.
You have the psychic gift, and in a way you didn't know, but you opened the doors.
Shut the door. Shut the door.
In a final attempt to drive the entity out, Jane conducts a seance in the family room with the hopes of getting rid of it once and for all.
In the seance, I am trying to confront the man that I feel is malevolent and who I suspect is probably terrorizing the family. We ask any spirits that are in the house to come into the center of our circle. We want to know who you are and why you're here.
I'm surrounded by the cold, just like a cold blanket.
I can feel the cold coming more and more.
Feel my right hand.
Can you feel it?
My left fingers. My left.
Okay.
I have it.
Can you feel it?
Mm-hmm.
What are you feeling, Fred?
My skin is rising.
And is that the familiar feeling that comes to you when it plagues you?
Yes.
Oh my God, it's like a white circle and it keeps making like a bullseye, like a target, and it's expanding in and out in my eye.
That's good, that's good.
My feet are like really cold.
Okay.
My legs are shaking.
Something's breaking my shoulders.
We're ready for you. It's okay.
My arms are pumped.
I see an image of a man rolling up.
All right, okay, good.
Tall, heavy-set man, crouched over and rolling up.
I'm gonna try to release it. It's nasty, son. You're not staying.
Get the f out of my house.
You don't belong here.
Get the f out.
You do not belong here.
Get the f out of my house.
This is not your house.
This is my house. Get the f out. You don't belong here.
Go.
Get the f out.
He's released me. He's released me. It's gone from Fred. Do you feel a release, Fred?
I feel empty.
All right, good.
This thing was in me the whole time I was here?
It's been around you.
After a long and arduous seance, the entity has been released through Fred.
In the seance, I was communicating with the spirit to go to the light, and that light is the way to God. No matter what religion you are, the light is the way to God. Well, I think we can drop hands and I can give you a nice big hug. That's for sure.
Thank you.
And come here, Kathleen. And you know what? I think this is a good moment for you and your husband to hug in a sense of relief that this can be gone. I think you both deserve
I brought it in.
a hug for each other. No, you didn't bring it. It's not your fault.
You didn't bring it here.
What he said at the end was that he was sorry. He apologized to his wife for bringing it in.
It felt like he can actually share now, whereas a lot of this he was keeping bottled up inside him. I just felt bad because he apologized to me for bringing something into the house.
He felt that he was betraying his family. He felt somehow that it was his fault. The whole group, we're all a family at that moment, and we all told him it wasn't his fault. And I think that's what he needed to hear, and I think he believed us.
Having released the negative entity through the seance, PRS now conducts the final stage of their investigation. The cleansing ceremony will assure that the demon will never return.
There's a lot of different ways to do cleansings. The idea when you're doing a cleansing is that the herbs and the resins that you're using have inherent power.
This is our basement. This is where our family enjoys time together. We only allow happiness and love in this room. Stay away.
I bring in nothing but loving energy to keep these rooms clear and filled with love and happiness and joy.
This is our living room and our music room.
Don't ever return.
Don't ever come back here. Do not ever touch me again. Do not break our light bulbs ever again.
Do not bother my husband. Do not hurt him or scare him.
This is a child's bedroom. Do not come back. Do not come near any of my kids.
Or us or our home. Thank you, everybody, for all of your help this weekend.
Thank you very much. It means a lot to us.
It does. We appreciate the support.
Our pleasure.
Very, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is the perfect start for you.
Yes.
Daryl, Farah, Kiki, thank you so much. And I'd like to share a bottle of champagne to my new beginning. There we go.
Toasting for a new beginning of happiness and joy and peace and love within your household, because it's now a home.
To good health, to happiness.
Since you guys left, I have felt nothing in this room.
Have you gone in the closet, though? Because the closet used to really freak you out.
This closet used to freak us out. We used to hear things on the other side of it, but basically we can both open it and not feel anything. Yeah, nothing.
Since they were here, we started taking down things and doing the things that they told us to do. The first few days, I felt immediately, the only way I could explain it was that the house actually felt bigger to me. I don't know if it was brighter, if it was more cheer. The rooms actually felt larger.
We changed the black cross on the wall that Farah thought may have been used in a negative fashion. Kathleen went out and got something of a little angel and put that on the wall as a replacement. Nothing exposes itself in the hallway after we took the cross down and have the angel up in place.
And then we went away for a few days, and when we came back, Fred was just still out of control. Seeing it, feeling it, hearing it, I don't know, it's definitely not gone. It's not gone.
I still see the small little gray shadow. When you sleep at night, there seems to be something knocking on bedroom doors again.
He could hear it, he could feel it. He kept saying that he couldn't live here anymore. He'd wake me up, it's 4 o'clock, it's 5 o'clock, like every hour. I mean, it was really driving me insane. I felt like we have to believe it's gone. I tried to be open-minded, I tried to be a supportive wife, and I just felt like Fred was just convinced this thing was here. You know, here we were thinking it was this small figure that we kept seeing in the house, and now we were told it was a man, and he was an alcoholic.
There are 3 things.
Yeah, but there was the man that was bothering you.
Okay.
Right?
I don't want
the
any
woman
in the
doesn't
house.
bother.
I mean,
No,
yeah.
I mean, we don't want any of them.
I don't want any
but
baggage in the house.